Marion, why don't we have any cheese left?
Because I ate it all. That is so fluffy. Look at that. So here we are, guys, another episode of Marion's Test Kitchen. So this is a series where we test out technology, cool products, gadgets, methods, techniques, so you don't have to. And what are we doing today? Well, I'm pretty excited because it's like literally carbs and cheese, which are like two of my favorite food groups. We're making the fluffiest, cheesiest kind of pull apart bread. And I'm gonna be testing out whether you can make the ultimate loaf in the oven or in a microwave oven. Yes. But along the way, I do have some cool techniques for trying to get that really fluffy inside and then plus that really lovely golden exterior. So stay tuned for that. But let me mention first of all that we have partnered with Panasonic for this episode and we're gonna be testing out their 4-in-1 convection microwave oven. So this guy bakes, roasts, grills, and steams, and it's this steaming function that I'm really interested in because I've always wanted a steam oven, but steam ovens are really quite expensive and I don't have one at home, and steam oven baking can be one of the best things for making really good bread. So I'm really interested in testing out how we go with steam oven versus regular baking. The first thing we're gonna do is get started on this technique, which is a very Asian sort of bakery style technique for keeping your bread dough really moist and keeping everything really fluffy. So first up, we're gonna heat up a little bit of the plain flour and the water from our bread recipe, and we're gonna heat that and turn it into a bit of a paste. And you wanna whisk and cook this till you get a really thick paste. Okay, so that doesn't take very long at all, like a couple of minutes only. And we're kind of looking here at almost like a roux, if you like. And we're gonna use that a little bit later, but first off, let's mix up the rest of our dough. So this should all look quite familiar now. So we have our plain or all-purpose flour. To that, I'm gonna add some yeast. I want some sugar and some salt. Now I'm gonna give this a mix first, make sure all my dry ingredients are incorporated. All right, so now I can go in with all the wet ingredients. Our little flour water mix here. So we need some milk, an egg, some melted butter. Now I've got my dough hook on here, so I'm gonna let this go and knead for about 10 minutes. If you were doing it by hand, which you can do it by hand, but if you're doing it by hand, I'd probably give it about double that amount and well, at least 15 anyway. All right, so we've come up on the 10 minutes now and this dough is looking so good. You know, I love that smell of the yeast and, you know, bread making is such a joy. Now, a couple of things here. I'm just gonna pop a little bit of flour on my bench top here. All right, so this dough's looking really good. I'm just giving it a couple of goes here with my hands. Shake it into a nice ball, and I've just greased my bowl here just with a little bit of spray oil, or butter will do as well. Pop that in. Now you just want to cover this up. And our little friend here needs about an hour to rest or until it's doubled in size. All right, so now we have plenty of time to make our filling. And what I'm going for with this filling is like, obviously like really cheesy, oozy, cheesy goodness. I'm gonna start out with some grated cheese. So, I mean, you could go any kind of adventure here, right? But I'm going today with Gouda cheese because I think it has a really yummy flavor, like it's cheesy, but also has some of that kind of stretch. The point is you want lots of cheese though. Okay, so I'm gonna put some spring onion in here as well. And I want some sesame oil and some salt. So this should be enough for 2 loaves because of course we're gonna have 1 loaf going in the oven and 1 loaf going in the microwave oven using that steam function, which I'm really excited about. Even more excited about having 2 loaves of bread because 2 loaves is better than 1. And I plan on eating a lot of bread. Okay, so while the bread is proving, I thought I'd have a coffee and I thought, why not make some dumplings because I love dumplings. There's steam, there's dumplings. Look at those guys. I really am really happy with that. I'm gonna have a snack before we finish the bread. so let's get the dough out. Oh, that smell, like honestly, that yeasty bread smell is so good. I mean, I literally feel like so wholesome right now. All right, so I want a little bit of flour on my bench top here because I don't want that dough to stick. Now you kind of want to punch the dough down a little bit. We want to take some of that air out. So I'm just going to knead this a couple of times here. Now you want to cut this into 2 portions for our 2 loaves. Put 1 portion back into the bowl and cover it up so it doesn't get dry. And now with this one, we are going to do a fancy pants little braid here, which is so fun. It's like your stuffed cheesy crust pizza dreams in a soft bread roll. All right, so I want 3 equal portions here. A bit more flour. And now you want to roll this out into like a long-ish kind of rectangle, like around about like 30 centimeters long, about 10 centimeters width. So now when you've got your lovely rectangle, you want to go in with your cheese. And now you want to roll this up. So just grab the edges here. We've got our lovely little roll. Just press down on the edges a little bit and do the same thing to the other portions. Okay, so we have our lovely 3 logs here, and what we need to do now is turn them into that like braided situation. So this is gonna look tricky. It's not tricky, but the thing you should do is start in the middle and not at the end because it's easier. And we start off with a braid here, well, like a cross here, and then like another cross here. So this is gonna look tricky. It's not tricky. All right, so start again. Let's go. Okay, so we make an X here. And then this guy comes over here. Okay, so in between, and then this one comes over here. And then this guy comes over here. Oh, look at that, see? Okay, now I can do the other side. So this comes over here. Yeah. And then this one comes over here. All right, now these tuck in under here. So there you go, guys. That's your little braid. Now, it looks a little small, but it will get bigger. So what you want to do is pop this onto a tray, lined with some baking paper so it doesn't stick. Okay, so now we have our 2 loaves, and I'm going to cover them up and let them sit again for another hour or until they've doubled in size. So before we get to have a look at what's been happening with our loaves, let's get our egg wash going first of all. So my little tip whenever I'm doing an egg wash and I want a really golden color is to just use the yolks instead of the whole egg. Okay, so now I just need a little bit of milk in here too. And now finally, let's come and have a look at our loaves. All right, so these guys are currently looking so beautiful. I mean, the whole process of making bread is just delightful, I have to say. All right, let's get on with our glaze. So, okay, so the final little zhuzh here, we want some sesame seeds. Okay, so now these need to go in the oven. I'm gonna pop this one into my regular oven. and this one into my microwave oven. All right, so we've got to do a little bit of shooting over here because the cool thing about this microwave is not only does it have a steam cook function, you can also steam and bake. The thing you want to do with bread baking is you want to give your bread some steam at the beginning of the cook, but not at the end. So at the beginning, it's going to help everything to like puff up and rise and give you that beautiful kind of soft kind of situation in the bread, but you only want it at the beginning. So I'm going to put this in and then do the steam shot function. I'm very excited about it actually. So anyway, let's go in here. I need to set the time first. Now I'm going to go in for like 22 minutes and then I want to start and press steam 3 minutes and it should be steaming. No, it is steaming. I think it is. I'm so intrigued by the steaming business. I think we should leave it shut though, so the steam is trapped in there, right? I think that's probably a good idea. This one's looking really nice and brown. Come and have a look. Whoa, look at that. Look at that color. Okay, so we're looking pretty good here. I love how shiny that is. All right, that's looking good. Let's wait and see what happens in our microwave. Okay, let's have a look. Ta-da! Whoa, look at that color. That's insane. This is bigger than the other one. Okay, so we have like two very different rolls here. So I feel like with this one, the steam really made that dough expand. Probably like more cooked through here. This one kind of is a lot tighter, but then you probably don't have as even a cook through these little bits through here. Darker color on this one though, which I do like. I do like this darker color better, but I do feel like this is gonna be like a more kind of fluffy, even rise. Okay, so I'm supremely happy with both of these. They look different, but what I want to know is what's happening on the inside. So first of all, let's get in here on our oven bake one. And I'm going to pull this apart and wow, look how fluffy. That is so fluffy. Look at that. Hello, cheese. Look at that. Oh, wow. Yeah. See all those little strands? That's so lovely. And steaming. That is Chinese bakery bread dreams. Cheesy crust pizza, soft bread rolls, cheese, scallion pancakes. It's like all of those things. Oh my goodness. That is so good. Yum. Right, that's a pretty high benchmark. I could literally eat that whole thing right now, but I won't. Let's have a look at this one. Let's have a look in here. Oh wow, look at that. Look at how fluffy that bread is. I mean, that is really insane. I mean, can you believe that we made this in a microwave? Absolutely ridiculous. Look at the size of that fluff. Like, look at that. Look at that fluff. Look at that steam. It's like, oh, it's so good. Let me have a look. Okay, so both of these are ridiculous, by the way. Really good. I love that the outside is really beautifully, it's golden. It's like it's crispy and then it just sort of melts away in your mouth. It's so beautiful. Okay, so verdict time. So I think now you can clearly see we have this uber fluffy texture in here. It's very light. It's a lot bigger, like puffier. And then this one's still good. I mean, that color on the outside is beautiful. But if you have a look through the center, it's not quite as fluffy. It's a little drier as well. I think that the steam cook, like that little like punch of steam, helped us to get like a much better, even kind of rise and beautiful light fluffiness, the consistency through the center of the bread, if you know what I mean. You know, I mean, they both taste amazing, but I gotta say, I'm gonna go with the microwave. I mean, this thing, the fluff, the texture, all the things, it's kind of got all the things. You wouldn't be disappointed with that, but if you made that, you'd be really happy, like extra happy.
I've literally eaten half of this loaf.
Oh wow.
See, look.
The fluffy
I know.
as soon as you touch it. As soon as you touch it.
Like, I don't want
I
to.
can't even believe. No, there's no comparison. That one's way better.
See, I don't want to diss the other one though. Like, this is a
Yeah.
perfect. I mean, if you cooked that, you would be totally happy.
Oh, yeah.
But like,
Fluffmaster.
yeah. Someone take it away.
Red honey.
It's so good.